digitally recorded reflection, I decided to do the short micro teaching of our lesson. So I have pulled up here our lesson plan that my partner and I created. And we actually got the idea of this lesson as well as the activity that falls with the lesson from a website through one of our independent practices. This Econ Ed link is a great resource that we've learned about in this class. It has a lot of great ideas for lesson plans, and so we came across this and we thought this would be a great lesson to implement into our classroom if we were still in our field placement. So this is where our idea has come from, and this is where our activity has come from as well. So going back to the lesson plan, our teaching behavior focus is we want to align the task with the learning goals, and this is because we really centered this lesson plan around the North Carolina Social Studies Essential Standard. We chose a broad standard that was 4E 1.1, which was understanding the basic concepts of a market economy, price, supply, demand, scarcity, productivity, and entrepreneurship. So we use that standard as the driver in our lesson, and so we want our task to be directly aligned with this standard. For our warm-up activity, we want to prime students' engagement and get them excited about what we're going to learn about. From the Econ Ed link idea that we're using, we are talking about a pizza shop today. And so we want to prime students' engagement by asking them questions such as, who likes pizza? Is pizza a common meal in your household? Or how many pizzas do you think are sold in one day in the United States? We want to get them thinking about pizza, which is a very common thing in the United States, and get them thinking about, wow, how many pizzas are produced, and I wonder how that all works. We want to just get their brains warmed up. We want to promote how the demand for pizza is high, especially in the United States, and so we'll start by telling our students that we're going to be examining the market for pizza sales in the United States today. So we really want to have some explicit instruction that is rooted in the content. So we want to teach this explicitly, but we also really want to just facilitate conversation between students and get their thoughts. We would facilitate a conversation about, how do you think businesses set their prices, and we want to pull in the terms producer, consumer, and market, and do all three of these go into a business? How are your prices determined with these three things in mind? So we just want to get the students ideas about, are they a producer, are they a consumer, are they part of a market? We want to hear some real world examples, and we want to hear some prior experience that they bring to the table. And I think this could be potentially a very rich conversation to have, where we are rooted in content, and we're also going over the very important vocabulary terms that the students will be using today. So after we have a rich discussion and we go over vocabulary terms and content, we want the students to engage in a group activity. Through this Econ Ed link, there is a worksheet for students, and basically they are going through a market schedule for a pizza shop, and their task is to make an exchange where all buyers and sellers are satisfied. So they're going to be going through prices and supply and demand, and looking at a supply and demand curve, and hopefully just giving them that deep connection with the content to back up that vocabulary knowledge and what we were talking about before, and also just get them excited about what they're learning and give them a hands-on learning experience so they aren't bored with the content. And then we also want to do an exit ticket so they can reflect on their findings from today, and maybe what challenges they face and what are some new things that they've learned. So we would use it as both formative and even a summative assessment tool.